Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and here lately I've been having a lot of fails on the stuff I put together, so I'm up to working into second and third generation stuff. And a while back I made what I call a Cyclone separator. Although I don't do woodwork, so I don't actually need a Cyclone separator. In fact, I was watching Matthias Wandel, and the solution to make things better came to me. And so what we're going to do is we're going to improve my vacuum system here, where I collect up the metal chips and stuff. And so I'll turn the camera around and show you what I'm going to do and why. Alright, so what I started out with is I started out with that bucket, and I put it on that little furniture dolly so I could move it around easy. And I put the hoses right in the plastic, which, you know, it works pretty good for a little while, but the next thing you know, the weight of the hoses bends over and cracks the plastic, and then you got to go get another lid for your bucket. And that's exactly what happened there. So I thought, well, I would take a piece of wood and put it there, and then I messed up and put one of the things on there wrong. But in the meantime, I was watching Matthias Wandel, and he was building his dust collector out of plywood, and I thought, son of a gun, instead of a bucket that I've got to put rings in to keep from collapsing, I could just make a rectangular box and set on there and let the bucket set inside of it, and and the stuff can dump in the bucket. I can open the lid, pull the bucket out, dump it out, and it's not going to collapse, and the hoses aren't going to bend the top over and break it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrap that and start over again with pretty much a box shape made out of plywood, and we'll see if that doesn't work a whole lot better. After all, I don't really need a Cyclone separator. The metal chips are heavy enough. When they come in from wherever I'm vacuuming, they'll fall straight down. They're not going to go floating out the other side where the vacuum hose is at. Some people think it's fun to watch me wrestle a whole sheet of plywood across that thing, and well, I'm going to do it again, so more fun, huh? This time I've got some plans, some drawings and sizes all worked out ahead of time, and we'll get with it here in just a minute. Well, here goes nothing. There's a common dimension on most of these, and that's 18 inches. So if I make another cut 18 inches, I should be able to get everything I need out of it. Who knows? Might be a mistake, might not be a mistake. We'll see. Okay, now then, according to this thing, I want two pieces 12 by 18 and two pieces 12 by 16 and two 18 by 16. So I can do the two 12 by 18 real quick. After looking at all that, I figure I could have made the whole thing out of half a sheet. Not guaranteed, but I think so. Well, I'm going to have a lot of plywood left over. I'll put you guys to sleep and bring you back when I'm closer to assembling things. Alright, so I've used pretty much what screws I could get out of my estate sale bucket, which is that guy there. And so I've got a real mixture of screws. And I think right while I've got it right at this point, I'm going to stop and dig through there and see how many screws that are almost the same that I can find. Lots of glue and small screws, and it's getting closer to being what I want it to be. So of course I'm not always graceful enough to maneuver it around. And so in keeping with what I've done on all the other sides of this thing, I'll drill some tiny little holes and put some small skinny screws in there. And that'll be most of the sides of it put together. Not real beautiful, but it's going. I miscalculated the size of the hinge, so I'm mounting it in this weird way. Little redneck engineering. Well, it works. Just more of the same on the inside edge. It's strange, there'll be a little bit of stuff sticking up, but I think it'll work out. What do you hear, Daisy? Huh? What do you hear, girl? Is there a squirrel out here? Huh? Is there a squirrel out here? Give it a smell so you can smell a squirrel. There could be one. Better look it over. The bucket will be inside just like that. I'll put a hole above it for the hose to come in to dump the chips. I'll put the air hose over here going to the vacuum cleaner. So all the chips will go there. All the air will go here. And of course the lid's going to shut. I've got some clamps for the lid. Then I'll have to put some weather stripping around it to make it airtight. But that's pretty much the way it's going to be built. Setting on that little dolly, hooked up to the hoses. But I've had enough for today. By the time I get all this stuff put up, it'll be dark, so we'll start on it again tomorrow. I realized there was a couple of things that I meant to do. Make a little frame to go around the top of the lid to reinforce where the well, can't say where the latches are going to hook on. So I figured if I do it now, I don't have to get the saw out again tomorrow. It'll all be done. So just a little delay. And a couple of short pieces and it's all over. It's a good thing I cut all those pieces of wood yesterday evening before I quit, because about an hour after I got through cleaning up out there, the rain started. And it's been going off and on all day today, and the backyard is full of mud and water. So I don't have to drag that saw out through all that. All I got to do is screw this stuff together. And I've got to use a hole saw to put holes in there for the hoses. And then I'll come around on the front and put on the latches. And other than weather stripping around the lid there to keep it airtight, it'll be pretty well done. And I'm sure you don't want to watch me screw down those pieces of wood or saw holes in the 2x4s there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let you go back to sleep while I do that, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product. Okay, so I didn't pay attention to the package when I bought the little latches there, and I bought 4 instead of 2. But that could be okay. I may want more latches on there if it has any kind of problem staying latched. So there's the bucket in there, and let's go ahead and latch the thing down. And when the glue's all dried on the hose there, well, I can see how bad it leaks, just like that. Probably pretty bad. I'm pretty sure I still have to put the weather strip on the inside, but that's a whole lot sturdier than that plastic bucket. The hoses aren't going to make anything bend over and break off or anything, so this is version 2. Hopefully it will be a lot better than version 1 was, because version 1 wasn't perfect. Well, I guess we need to see if Bubba or Ole or maybe even Boudreaux's around. And later on, of course, I'm going to tell you to keep on keeping on. You knew that, didn't you? Before and after, all in one view. No chemicals, just a few minutes with a wire brush on a motor, of course. I think that does better than rust removal stuff. Well, it seems like Bubba and Cooter got a job working for the local city government there, and so their boss sent them out to the library there. He wanted to find out how tall the flagpole was. So they got there, and they're both standing there looking up at it, and been doing that a little bit. And this woman comes walking up and says, "What are you guys doing?" Bubba says, well, he says, we're supposed to figure out how tall this flagpole is, but we ain't got no ladder. The lady says, well, just a minute, give me that wrench out of your toolbox there. And they hand her a wrench, and she undoes some bolts, lays the flagpole down, takes the tape measure out of the toolbox and measured it. She says 18 foot 6 inches and walks off. Bubba looks at Cooter and he says, you know, Cooter, he says, that's just like a smart aleck woman. He says, we want to know how tall it is, and she tells us how long it is. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.